Hi guys, welcome back again. In today's class we are going to be considering how to sew side pockets and double welt pockets, and also to sew the fly piece and fly piece shade. That's the thing we are going to consider today. First of all, after you have finished cutting your fabric or your trouser, you have to run weaving with your overlock weaving machine at the edges of the trouser. This is for the front, which I have just finished weaving. I weaved it just now, and this is the back of the fabric. You also run weaving on the pocketing and the pocket cover. This is the back pocket cover. You run weaving on one side of it, and also this is for the side pocket cover. You will run weaving right around, leaving the upper side. You leave the upper side, but you run weaving right around of it. You can see it. So I have just run weaving on them. So I will commence right now first in putting that on the back side of our trouser. This is the front side of the trouser, and this is the back side of the trouser. This is the back side of the trouser. So how do we put that on this back side of the trouser? So what I will do is that I will measure out. I measure from here, removing our sewing allowance or the seam allowance. These are seam allowance, half-inch seam allowance. Removing half-inch seam allowance, I will now measure the waist measurement, and the waist measurement is 8, which is 8 multiplied by 4 will give us 32 inches. So our waist measurement is 32 inches. When we divide it by 4, it will give us 8 inches. So we mark 8 inches. So we are going to, what we do next is that we fold this, taking this point, you match it with the point. You just mark your chalk, you hold it there. So, and you will give a notch at this point. Align it to be straight. Make sure they are straight, and these points are together. You align the remaining fabric to be straight this way, and you will give a notch on it. So having done that, we will now bring the fabric out and run the dart for it. So I will fold my fabric this way, and I will measure the length of the dart. And actually the width of the dart should be half-inch on one side, which is the total of 1 inch. The total of one inch. That's what we are going to remove for the dart, and the length will be 3.5 inches. 3.5 inches. And I will start to run my darts. I run the darts, and make sure while sewing that your sewing does not exceed the 3.5. Look at this thing I'm doing now. If you will not get a kind of slant sewing, it is preferable as you dot the half-inch, dot the 1.5, you get your rule, you get your ruler, and you draw a line, a straight line on it, so to give the slant needed for the dart. If you cannot run the dart to get the slant needed for it, you get your ruler, place it this way, and draw the line. Follow the line straight, so it's straight to the point which you need to stop. So this is it. We also run stitch on the other side of the fabric, the other side of our trouser. this is for this, and I will place it this way. So I will put it inside. Remember, I need to give the mark first, my half inch, and because whatever you do on the other side, you will still do on this side. So I will, this 3.5, I will run the stitch. So we run the stitch needed. So we are done with this. We take you to the ironing table. We iron this. We iron and gum. Put gum for the wet pockets and also put gum for the side pockets. Let's move now to the table. So we are now on our table. What I will do is to press this. So because I'm not using a steam iron, I have to spray water on it. So you use your stretcher to stretch it so that it will lap very well. You can see it. So you can see how it's relaxed because of the stretcher. Look at the front. You see the front. So I will also iron this side. Is this spray water? So now I will introduce my gum. This is the gum I'll be using. This is called cloth gum or material gum. So I'll be using it to gum on the back of the trouser. Actually, this is the full gum here. The full is where I cut the gum out from. So I'm going to be applying this here. Now if you look at this gum, it has two faces. It has the shining face and non-shining face, and the shining face is the place where the gum is. You place it on the fabric and you gum. So I'm done gumming this. I will also gum this one. I'm done gumming this. So I will get the side pocket. I will show you right now how to locate the place you will position your side pockets. Actually, you can see the place I put a notch with my scissors. This is the place the side pocket with, but I will illustrate it back again because I know that I have illustrated this while cutting the trouser. So the waist is 38 inches. You remove half inch. If we remove half inch, the same allowance on the front side, you now measure the 38 divided by 2 will give us 8 inches should be here, but we are not going to fold it at 8 inches. What we do, we take 1 inch inside, which will be 7 inches. So this is where, that is the reason why I put this notch on this point. So, and the pocket, the length of the pocket, the length of this pocket is 7 inches. The length of the pocket is 7 inches. You can see it is 7 inches. So I will give notch on this point, and I'm going to gum here. So actually, what I mean is 32 inches. That is the waist of this trouser. The waist is 32 inches. When you divide it at 2 inches by 4, it will give us 8 inches, and you remove 1 inch, which is 7 inches. So I'm going to start by gumming the side pocket. I still place my gum. Remember, the size of the gum for the back is not the same with the size of the gum for the side pocket. The back is 2.5 inches, the width, and the length of the back is about 6.25 or 6 inches will be enough for it. Why this one is 1.5 inches, that is the width, and the length is 8 inches. So I'm going to be gumming this. I give a notch on the gum, and I fold it. I locate the notch at the upper side, and I fold it iron to be straight. I apply my stretcher or my smoother to stretch it or to smooth it to be flat. So I turn the other side of the fabric, and I also gum it. I also locate the notch at the up. I also iron it to be straight. So on this side of the fly piece, I will apply cloth gum on it. Giving your seam allowance. So I'm done with this. What I will do next is that I will pick up my pocketing and stretch it. Since it is rumpled, I will stretch it with my iron. So I will apply gum also, this for the wet pocket. I say we are preparing double wet pocket, so I will apply gum both the up and down of this pocket. And this is the fly piece. This is the fly piece, so I will gum one side of it. So this is the left hand side and this is the right hand side of the fly piece, so I will be gumming the right hand side of the fly piece. Now trim it. So I'm done with this. I will now go inside to start sewing the pockets. So I will start by fixing this side pocket. I'll start by fixing this side pocket, but before I start it, I have to give a shout out to these two guys, Charity Chase Simba and Jabong Art, for their comments. Thank you very much, and God bless you for that comment. And so we continue. This is our pocketing. These are pocketing. So we have our pocketing, a cover, pocket cover. So I will place the pocket cover by the side of the pocketing, just this way. You can see it. You can see how it is. So, but before I start sewing, I have to change the down thread to white. Why? Because we have a white pocketing. So it's not good that the pocketing, we have a different color at the back, so we have to change the down thread to white. So this is our reeler, white reeler, which I've already read it, so I have to change it. I will put white reeler so that what will be appearing at the bottom will be white and not navy blue. So I will start running stitch. And while running it, make sure that the pocket cover is flat on the pocketing. Make sure that it's flat. Don't allow it to puff off. Make sure that it's flat on the pocketing, very flat. So I will also run on this side. So you can see the back of the pocket. You can see that what is appearing, you can barely see the thread because what I put under is white. You cannot see where the stitch run, but assuming it is navy blue, you would have seen the sewing. Look at this and see how it is also. You see how it is very neat because we use the matching color for the pocketing at the back of it, and this is the front. So we continue with the sewing. This where we have folded with our iron, I will place this pocketing right under. Now I want you to note something. You have to note the one that belongs to each other. This is our left hand side, and this is the pocketing for the left hand side. This pocketing belongs to this place. Why do I say that? If you place your pocketing this way with the pocket cover facing downward, you pick the front of the trouser, you place it right this way, so that after the sewing you can turn this, you can turn the pocketing, and this pocket cover will be showing at the front side. That's why I said that this pocketing belongs to this front of our trouser, while this belongs to the other side of the trouser. So we will commence. I will commence with the sewing right now. Now, while sewing, you have to project your pocketing up a little bit. You project it up a little bit to avoid, after sewing it, you now start trimming for it not to align well. So to avoid that, you have to raise the pocketing a little bit upper than the main fabric. So just as what I have done here, you can see it. You can see that it's up above the fabric. So I have to start running my stitch. I will give a notch here to touch at the place. So to touch where we have already given notch. The notch we are giving is for the pocketing. We are cutting that of the pocketing. This is the one of the fabric, and you have to cut that of the pocketing to enable the sewing. So having done this, what I have to do is I will spray it this way. I spray it, and as I spray it, I see if I'm applying a little bit force on it. I'm applying force on it to be flat. Now the reason why is that I wouldn't like after sewing the fabric will be, the pocketing will be like this at the back. If it is like this at the back, it's not good. It's not good at all. So you have to spray it, apply a little bit force as if you are spraying it wide. So you now run stitch straight. Run straight. To the end of the place you gave cuts. Run it to the end of the place you gave cuts, which is the end of this, and you turn this pocketing to run stitch at the tip of the pocket. At the tip of the pocket. So having done that, you now turn your pocket in. You turn the pocket in to face you. You can see it. So the first thing I have to do is that I have to stitch here, run a stitch here straight, and also run stitch on the upper side of the fabric. But while running the stitch, after running stitch here, you have to make sure that the pocket mouth and the pocket cover is in alignment, is straight. It will not be in this form. If it is like this, it's not good. If it is also like this, it's not good. Right on. So I will run the stitch right now. And on this area now we are going to mark the exact point this pocket cover will reach. We not just put it this way and leave it. No, you remember our waist, the waist of this straw is 32 inches, and 32 inches divided by 4 will give us 8 inches. Now look at that additional 1 inch we remove from it. We are not going to add that 1 inch which we remove while folding this. While folding the pocket mouth, we are going to add the additional 1 inch to this point. So this is what we do. We remove our seam allowance here. We now mark the 8 inches. This is the 8 inches, and this should be the seam allowance. But if this is not enough for the seam allowance, we add it. Let's assume that after doing this and it's not up to, what you have to do is to push it this way. You push it this way to be enough, or if it is more than, you draw it back to be equal with the measurement which you intended to use for this pocket, for the waist. So I mark this is the same allowance, ½ inch here and also ½ inch here. So I'm going to run stitch on it. I will now trim this off, the excess. I will trim the excess off. So you can see it. Then I will turn the back. And I will give a notch, cut it, kind of let it enter inside small, and I will also trim this. I will trim the pocket, because this pocket, this pocketing supposed not to be in alignment with the body of the the trouser. So I'm going to trim this. I'm going to trim it. You can see what I have just done. So having done that, I will now turn it inside out, turn it this way. And hold the two places I gave notch. These two places I gave notch, these two places, I will now hold it together and run stitch. As I'm running the stitch, I am joining the thing together to be equal. So I will still trim this a little bit. So I will now turn it back. I will turn it back to where it's supposed to be. I will now run stitch at the edge. So I'm done sewing the side pocket for this. You can see how it is. This is for this side. So I will now run the same stitch on the other side, but I will not give a detailed explanation while running. You'll just be watching as I run the other side. If you did not understand this fully, as I run on the other side, I believe you will understand more better. So this is for this, and I will place it and also run the stitch. On running on this area, you run at the tip of the pocket, at the tip of the side pocket. I give a notch here. And there is something I want you to note. The reason why we are removing this is so that after sewing, it will not be in aligned with the body of the clothes, and while sewing or while joining the side seam, while running for the side seam, it will not touch the pocketing. The pocketing is supposed to be on its own while joining the front and the back of the trouser. That's the reason I'm removing these parts, so that it will not enter the joining of the front and the back of the trouser. So I'm done with the fixing or the sewing of the side pockets. So you can see how it is. I'm done with the sewing, so I will proceed immediately with the welt pockets. So before we sew our welt pockets, we will first run stitch on the landing. We are going to sew the landing first. So the process to the landing, you pick the front of the trouser, place it on top of the landing, and you start running your stitch. Remember that in the down thread was white, but I have changed it to navy blue, which is the color of the fabric. Once you are done with this, you turn the trouser this way and you push it this way. Push the landing inside and you start running the stitch at the tip. Remember, I said that the landing will have pleating right inside. So to fix that pleating, you place the landing, hold your hand like this, and close your fabric or the front of the trouser. You can see the pleating on the trouser. You trim the excess material or the excess landing material. So we are done with this in fixing of our landing. After I will use my iron to iron here to be flat. Run it iron, so, and I will also run on the same side of the fabric. So I'm also done with this. This is the pleating. So I will move straight to the welt pockets. Remember, we said double welt pocket. That's what we are going to be putting on this our trouser. So the first thing I have to do is to mark the size of the pocket. But there is something I want you to note. The wet pocket, the width of the wet pocket should be 5 inches. Now, if the waist of your client is above that 5 inches, you make the width of the pocket 5.5 inches or 5.5 inches. But if it is below that 5 inches, you make it 5 inches. And the waist which we are working with is 32 inches. And because of that, we make the wet pocket width or the wideness of the wet pocket 5 inches. I will mark before I mark the 5 inches, I will place the half of the 5 inches along the dart line, so which is 2.5 on this side and 2.5 on this side. Let's assume that we want to make it 5.5. So we have to also divide the 5.5 into 2, which will give us 2 3/4 on this side and 2 3/4 on the other side. So this is 5 inches. We divide the 5 into 2, which will give us 2.5. We place the 2.5 at the center of the dart, along the dart line. So we mark 2.5 on this side and 2.5 on this side, which will give us the total of 5 inches. So I will connect this line. So I will get the opposite side of this trouser, place it on top of it to print on the opposite side. This is the opposite side of our trouser. We hit it, having placed it to be equal. You can see it, the two sides are equal, so I will hit hand. So you can see that it has printed on the opposite side. So the only thing I will do is to use chalk to bring it, to make it visible, more visible than it is now. So having done that, I have to start running stitch for the back pocket. I will get what I will use in forming the back pocket. These are the things which I have already gummed. If you have been following the class, I have already gummed these things for the back pocket. These are the first thing I did. I've already gummed this for the back pocket. So what I have to do is that I will start running the stitch. If you have been following, you remember that I said this one will be at the bottom and while this will be at the top of the trouser. So I will fix it and start running the stitch. But if I'm to say I need to get a pen so I can draw a line to this point, so that for those that doesn't know much about this, you will follow the step I'm taking to reproduce your back or welt pockets. So I will place my rule on this side. So I'm going to draw from this point to this point a straight line. I also place this. I will run this first, following the line which I've drawn. And make sure that your stitch does not exceed that line. What you have to do, make sure you align it to be equal, and also align here to be equal, and let your stitch not exceed that point. So you can see it. You can see here and here. Look at the back. So I will cut it open. And don't cut your stitch to exceed that point, and let it not touch the thread, because if it touch the thread, it will cut it open, and your stitch, your pocket will not be smooth. Let it not exceed it. So you can see it. You fold it. So you turn it to the front. Turn to the front and still fold it. Use your scissors to push here inside. And you run a stitch. You are running stitch here. Here is the place you are going to run stitch. You are running stitch at this point. You can see how it is. You still do the same on this side. So you run stitch around the wet pocket. So you can see how it is. Very smooth. So what I do is to iron it, but before I take it to the ironing table, I have to cover it first. But let us focus on the other one before the covering. Let's run stitch on the opposite side. Let's prepare the wet pocket for the opposite side before the covering. So in this one, I may not be explaining in detail, or I may not be drawing paint on this area. If you can do it as I'm doing it now, it will still be good. So this is for the opposite side. So I have to cover it. This is my pocketing, which I will use in covering it, and this is what I will use in covering this. So the first thing I have to do is to change the thread, the down thread to white. So that's the first thing I have to do. I will change it to white, and the next thing I have to do, I will measure from here. I measure from here to here, know how many inches it is. So I have here, this is 7 inches. Let me confirm the other side. This is also 7 inches. Then I will now measure from here. I will pull it down a little bit. This is our 7 inches. So this space will be going up. So I will run stitch on the lower side of it. On the lower side. So I'm going to be attaching it on the pocket to cover it. As you place it, you check the bottom side. You check on also this side. Then you run stitch. From this point to here. So you can see the stitch. You have to close the upper area first. You have to close this side first. So before joining, then I will run stitch to close the side of the pocket. And after this, we will use bias to rim the edge of the pocket, to trim the excess out. So this is for this. Let me also prepare the opposite side before running the bias. Still make sure that this side they are equal. So we will now apply our bias to it. This is our bias. You can see how it is. I will still change my thread. I see the back how it is. So you can see how it is. So I will take it to the table to iron it, then I will return back. So I just ironed it. You can see how neat it is. Look at the back of the wet pocket. Is the back, and this is the front, and this is for this. And this is all about sewing of side pockets, a trouser side pocket, and the wet pocket. So these are the output of the work. You can see it. So these are the works. You see the back, the side pockets. So these are all about it, and we will proceed now with the fly zipper. Thank you very much for watching. Meet you at that class of the fly zipper and fly zipper shade.